I'm Sarah. I'm 26 years old, and I work as a marketing manager. And for the first time in my entire life, I can finally breathe. This apartment, it's all mine. Every piece of furniture, every utility bill, paid for by me. I worked 3 jobs through college. I clawed my way into this career. I paid my own way. I am finally, totally independent. That's why the phone call made no sense. It was my mother, Janet. Her voice was casual, too casual, and then she said it. Honey, we need you to start paying the $300 family rent. My stomach just dropped. Rent? I don't live there. I haven't in years. The word hung in the air, cold and sharp. I managed to ask what she was talking about. The reason, my brother, Mark, my 4-year-old brother just bought a flashy new car he couldn't possibly afford, and now I was expected to pay for his mistake. You make good money now, Sarah, she said, her voice turning hard. It's time you paid us back. By helping your brother. Paid you back? For what? I mumbled something, anything, just to get off the line. I hung up, my hand shaking. My phone immediately lit up again. A new text, this time, from Mark. This was only the beginning. When does helping family stop? And financial extortion begin? I just sat there, on my own couch, in my own apartment. The apartment I moved into 6 months ago. The apartment that cost me a significant chunk of my salary. A salary I earned. I stared at my phone, at the text from Mark. I hadn't even opened it. I was stuck on 2 words. Family rent. It's the kind of phrase that sounds normal, until you realize it's nonsense. It's gaslighting, gift-wrapped. How can I pay rent on a house I haven't lived in for years? How can I pay rent for a room that is now my father's cluttered home office? They weren't asking me to pay rent to them. They were asking me to pay rent for them. To pay for Mark. The anger wasn't hot. Not yet. It was cold and heavy. It felt old. Because this isn't new. This is just the most blatant it's ever been. My eyes drifted around my living room, the lamp I spent 2 weeks saving for, the rug I agonized over, the bookshelf I built myself, filled with books I paid for. This place is my sanctuary. It's my proof that I did it. I got out, I stood on my own 2 feet, and I built a life without their help. In fact, I built it despite them. I closed my eyes, and I wasn't in my apartment anymore. I was back in college. I'm 19 years old. It's 1 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I'm in the university library. Not in the bright, open study areas. I'm deep in the stacks, on the 3rd floor, where the old history books are. The only sound is the flat, electric hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. The air smells like old paper, dust, and the faint, bitter scent of floor polish. My eyes burned. I'd been staring at a macroeconomics textbook for 3 hours, but I wasn't just studying. I was on the clock. This was one of my 3 jobs. Library assistant. From 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., I reshelved books and wiped down tables. From 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., I worked the breakfast shift at the cafeteria, my hair smelling like burnt eggs and coffee grounds all day. On weekends, I babysat for a professor, wiping up messes that weren't mine. I did that for 4 years. I took out student loans to cover the tuition gap my jobs couldn't fill. I ate instant ramen not as a joke, but as a budget line item. I never went on spring break. I never bought a new car. I was driving a 5-year-old sedan that rattled if I went over 60. I remember one phone call home, back then. I was 20. I was juggling a 1S credit semester, 2 jobs, and a nasty case of the flu. I was just so tired. I made the mistake of letting it show. I told my mom I was exhausted, that I felt like I was drowning. Her response? No sympathy. No, I'm proud of you, or it'll be okay. She just laughed, a short, sharp sound. You're lucky, Sarah. All that hard work, it builds character. It builds character. I've thought about that line so many times. It's the kind of thing you say to justify neglect. It's what you say when you've provided nothing, so you rebrand that nothing as a valuable life lesson. My character was built from their absence. My good salary wasn't a gift from God. It was the result of sleepless nights, of missing parties, of panic attacks over exams, of saying no to every single luxury so I could one day afford the basic necessity of freedom. That salary is for my student loans, it's for my car payment, it's for my future. It is not, and it will never be, a subsidy for my brother's new toy. The day I signed the lease on this apartment, I sat on the floor of the empty living room and cried. It was the first time I felt safe. The first time I felt like my life was truly my own. And now, with one phone call, they're trying to take that away. They're trying to reach their hands into this house, into my bank account, and pull me right back down. They're not just asking for $300. They're asking for my peace. They're asking for my future. They're asking me to pay for the privilege of being their scapegoat. And then, there's Mark. My brother. The golden child. While I was building character by working myself to the bone, Mark was just living. He's 2 years younger than me, but he's always been light years ahead in parental support. He went to college a year after I did. Did he get a job? Did he apply for scholarships? Did he even see a student loan application? Of course not. My parents, Janet and my father, paid for his entire education, his full tuition, his housing costs, his meal plan. I once did the math, just out of morbid curiosity. Over 4 years, they must have poured over $100,000 into his life. He floated through college on a cloud of their money, never having to work a single shift. He graduated with zero debt and zero concept of money. I remember I visited him once during his junior year. I was a recent grad, working my first real job, barely scraping by after paying my own rent and my loan installments. I took a bus to see him, to try and maintain some kind of family connection. The moment I walked into his off-campus apartment, I wanted to laugh. Or scream. The whole place smelled. It was that specific, sticky dorm room smell of stale beer, old pizza crusts in a box on the floor, and cheap air freshener trying to cover up the scent of unwashed laundry. Music was blasting from a speaker system I knew my parents had bought him for his birthday. There were 3 of his friends passed out on the sofas, even though it was 2 in the afternoon on a Thursday. Mark just grinned at me, like this was the height of success. Pretty sick, right? I just looked at the massive flat-screen TV, another gift, and nodded, my stomach tight. This is what their money bought. While I was counting pennies for bus fare, he was living in a monument to their indulgence. He was failing 2 of his classes, but it didn't matter. There were no consequences. There were never, ever, any consequences for Mark. This pattern of him being subsidized and me being the subsidy, it started long before college. I have this crystal clear memory from when I was 20. I'd saved up $40 from my library job to take the train home for a weekend. Mark, then 18, wanted to go to the movies. I, stupidly, offered to pay for his ticket, just to be a good big sister. We get to the concession stand. He orders the largest popcorn, the largest soda, and 3 different kinds of candy. Then he turns to me, pats his pockets with a theatrical sigh, and says, "Oh, man, looks like I forgot my wallet. You got this, right?" I didn't got this. I had exactly $12 left in my bank account for the rest of the week. But I was trapped. He knew I was. I paid for his $30 snack haul with my grocery money, and my cheeks burned with a shame that was his, not mine. He didn't even say thank you. He just grabbed the popcorn and walked away. He's been forgetting his wallet in one way or another ever since. And now, we have the car. The brand new, shiny, expensive car he bought last month. The car he signed a loan for. The car he can't afford. My parents were so proud. Janet posted pictures of it on social media. Our boy is doing so well, so proud of Mark's new ride. They knew he couldn't afford that payment. They knew he was overextending himself. They didn't see it as a mistake. They saw it as an opportunity, a chance for him to have the shiny toy, knowing that I, the responsible one, the good salary, would be their financial backstop. They celebrated his entitlement. They celebrated his irresponsibility. It makes me wonder, did they celebrate when I signed my first student loan papers? Did they post on Facebook when I paid my first rent check all by myself? Did they ever, once, tell me they were proud of me for not needing their help? Or was I only valuable as long as I was invisible and solvent? It all clicked. The whole, ugly picture finally snapped into focus. Mark, enabled his entire life, finally flew too close to the sun. He signed his name to a loan agreement he couldn't afford, for a car he didn't need, to maintain an image they encouraged. And now, the first payment is due. And they're panicking. The golden child is in trouble. His perfect, subsidized life is about to hit a real-world consequence, and they can't have that. It would shatter the illusion. It would mean they failed. So, they looked around for a solution. And their eyes landed on me. Sarah, the responsible one, the one with the good salary. I wasn't the first child. I was the emergency fund. My phone, which I'd left on the coffee table, buzzed again. It felt loud in the quiet apartment, obnoxious. I finally picked it up, my thumb hovering over the screen. 2 new messages. The first wasn't a text, it was a notification from the family group chat. My mom, Janet, had just posted something. I opened it. It was a picture. A soft focus, watercolor image of flowers with cursive text overlaid. Family is a circle of strength, founded on love. Always be there for each other. A passive-aggressive meme. The hypocrisy was so thick I could barely breathe. This wasn't a message of love. This was a warning shot. It was a public performance, aimed directly at me, reminding me of my duty before I even had a chance to refuse. It was a way of preemptively painting me as the villain if I broke the circle of strength. My stomach turned. I backed out of the group chat and opened the text from Mark. I don't know what I was expecting. An apology? Embarrassment? A half-hearted promise to pay me back? I got none of that. His text was 3 short, brutal lines. Hey, Mom told me you talked. You're being dramatic. It's just $300. She's right. So, are you helping or not? I read it once, then twice. Dramatic. It's just $300. Just $300? Does he have any idea what $300 is to me? $300 is my entire grocery budget for the month. $300 is the extra, aggressive payment I make on my student loans every single month. The ones I have to pay because my tuition wasn't covered. $300 is my car insurance and my internet bill combined. $300 is the money I'm desperately trying to scrape together for an emergency fund, so I never have to be in a position like this. Just $300 to him is a night out. It's a new video game. It's meaningless. It's air. And it's not just $300, is it? It's $300 a month. Indefinitely. It's a subscription. A $3,600 a year tax for the crime of being related to him. A tax for being the one who built character while he built debt. And that's when it hit me. The anger. It was so sudden, so hot. It was like a physical blow. A wave of heat climbed up my spine, into my neck, and settled deep in my jaw, locking it tight. My vision tunneled. They don't see me. They don't see me, Sarah. The daughter. The sister. The person who worked 3 jobs, who graduated with honors, who built a life from scratch. They see a walking, talking bank account. An ATM. I'm not family. I'm infrastructure. I'm the emergency plan. I'm the built-in safety net for the real child, the one they actually love, the one they pour all their resources into. My good salary doesn't mean Sarah is successful. To them, it means Mark's lifestyle is secure. He called me dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. I'm being extorted. The anger became something else, something cold and sharp and terribly clear. This wasn't a request for help. When you ask for help, you're vulnerable, you're humble, you give the other person the power to say no. My family didn't ask me for anything. They sent me an invoice. I'm standing in the middle of my living room, but I'm not really there. I'm just staring at my phone. At Mark's words. Dramatic. It's just $300. My fingers are shaking, not with fear, not anymore. It's with rage. A pure, cold, clarifying rage. He's not just dismissing my feelings, he's dismissing my entire life, my struggle, my work, my character, all of it reduced to me being dramatic over just $300. I take a deep breath. In, out. The shaking stops. The cold clarity takes over. My first instinct is to text him back. to send him a novel-length message detailing every cent I ever earned, every meal I skipped, every late night I spent building the life he's now trying to leech from. But I stop. What's the point? He's not the one I need to convince. He's just a symptom. My mother, Janet, she's the source. And replying to Mark directly would be playing their game. They want to isolate me. They want to make this a one-on-one squabble. No. This started in the family group chat with that passive-aggressive meme. It's time to reply all. My thumbs move, deliberately, over the keypad. I don't open my private text with Mark. I go straight to the family group, the one with Mom, Dad, Mark, and me. I type. Each tap is a small, hard, final sound in the quiet of my apartment. I don't yell. I don't accuse. I just state the facts they seem to have forgotten. I am not paying for his car. I pause. I read the line. It's good, but it's not enough. They need the why. They need to see the ledger. I paid for my own college. I paid for my own apartment. And I paid for my own car. He paid for nothing. My thumb hovers over the send button. This is it. This is the moment the good, quiet, responsible Sarah, the family ATM, the character-building scapegoat, finally says no. This isn't just a text message. This is a declaration of independence. My stomach is a cold, tight knot of adrenaline. I feel sick. I hit send. The little blue bubble appears, delivered. The silence in my apartment is deafening. I watch the screen, holding my breath. I half expect the phone to explode in my hand. Nothing. 1 minute. 2 minutes. The 3 little dots, typing, appear under my mother's name. They appear, and then they vanish. Then they appear again. She's calculating. She's figuring out the angle, the right way to spin this. Buzz. The reply comes. It's from her. I open it, my heart pounding. But it's not the explosion I expected. It's not the rage. It's worse. It's a complete, total, absolute dismissal of everything I just said. Her text. So, will you be sending the $300 at the first of the month? I just stare at it. Is she joking? Did she even read my text? Or did her brain just blue screen, unable to compute the word no when it comes from me? I realize what this is. This is a power move. She's pretending I didn't speak. She's treating my firm, fact-based boundary as a speed bump. A minor, hysterical blip on the way to her getting what she wants. She's not asking if, she's still asking when. She thinks this is a negotiation. She thinks I can be worn down. The last of my fear burns away, replaced by a steely, hard resolve. She wants a clear answer? I'll give her one. I type again. No facts this time. No justification. No emotion. Just 2 words. I said no. I will not be sending any money. I hit send. The response is instant. No more calculation. No more pause. The mask doesn't just slip. She rips it off and throws it on the ground. This is the real Janet. Buzz. It's your duty as family. He's your brother. How can you be this selfish? The guilt trip. The classic, last-ditch effort. When logic fails, weaponize family. When facts are inconvenient, pivot to duty. She's not just angry that I said no. She's outraged that I dared to. My phone buzzes again. And again. This isn't an argument. It's an attack. The accusations are coming in hot now. Selfish. Bad daughter. You think you're better than us. I'm still in the group chat, and I can feel the digital arrows aimed right at me. But the cold clarity is holding. I am a rock. They are the water, just splashing against me. I type one last thing into that group chat. One final, simple, unassailable fact. It's his car. It's his responsibility. I stand firm. And that, apparently, was the final straw. My mother, Janet, realizing she can't win with facts, that she can't bully me in the group, decides to go nuclear. The group chat goes silent. My phone is quiet for almost a full minute. It's the most threatening silence I've ever experienced. Then, a new text message notification. It's not in the group. It's a private text, just from her. This is the escalation. This is the one-on-one threat, where there are no witnesses. My stomach drops. I open it. Don't be selfish. If you don't help, we'll have to tell Grandma and your aunts how ungrateful you are. I read the words. Ungrateful. Tell Grandma and your aunts. This isn't just a threat. This is a strategy. This is her nuclear option. Public shaming. She is threatening to weaponize the entire family against me. To paint me as the villain, the cold-hearted, rich, ungrateful daughter who won't help her poor, struggling brother. Ungrateful. That's the word that does it. That's the one that breaks through the cold clarity. My blood doesn't just pound. It ignites. A hot, searing flash behind my eyes. My hands are no longer steady. They're clenched into fists at my sides, my nails digging into my palms. Ungrateful? Ungrateful? For what? For the privilege of paying my own way through college while they bankrolled his? For the character-building experience of working 3 jobs while he partied? For the honor of graduating with tens of thousands of dollars in debt, a debt I am still paying, while he graduated with a new speaker system and a zero balance? How dare she? She's not just twisting the knife, she's trying to break it off in the wound. And then, it starts. She didn't wait for my response. She'd already made the calls. This isn't T+1 day. This is T+1 minute. My phone, which I'm still clutching, suddenly feels like a live grenade. It buzzes. A new text. Aunt Karen. Before I can even read it, it buzzes again. Aunt Linda. Buzz. A missed call. Grandma. Buzz. 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 The screen lights up. It won't stop lighting up. It's a set piece. A digital assault. The sound of the vibration on my coffee table is violent. Psty. 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 It's the sound of a hornet's nest I've just kicked over. It's an avalanche of notifications. Texts. Missed calls. Voicemails. I feel like I can't breathe. I'm trapped in my own apartment, and the walls are closing in. I manage to open one. From Aunt Karen. Sarah, your mother is heartbroken. You need to call her and apologize right now. He's your brother. Another one. Aunt Linda. I am so disappointed in you, Sarah. After everything your parents did for you, you should be ashamed. Everything they did for me? What alternate reality are they living in? Then, the voicemail notification. Grandma. My hand is shaking so much I can barely press the play button. I hold the phone to my ear. Her voice, usually so warm, is small and cold. Sarah. How can you do this to your mother? She's so upset. Your brother, he just needs a little help. It's just money. Family is more important than money. It's just money. It's always just money when it's my money. This isn't a family discussion. This is a mob. They're the flying monkeys, and my mother is the one holding the leash. This isn't about helping. This is about control. It's about forcing me back into my box. The box of the responsible, silent, and endlessly giving scapegoat. This isn't family. This is financial coercion, and I am completely, terrifyingly, alone. I can't breathe. That's not an exaggeration. I am pacing my tiny living room, and I cannot get a full breath. My chest is too tight. My apartment, my sanctuary, feels like a cage. My phone is on the table, face down, but it's still a living monster in the room. It buzzes every few seconds, a vicious, angry vibration that makes me flinch every single time. Bzzzt. Bzzzt. I am being hunted. In my own home. I can't stay here. I'm grabbing my keys, my wallet, shoving my phone into my pocket without even looking at the screen. I just need to be out. I flee my own apartment, running down the hall, jabbing the elevator button like my life depends on it. I'm just walking. Aimlessly. The street is loud, but it's better than the buzzing. I pull out my phone. I have one person I can trust. My friend, Renee. I text her 3 words. Need you. Now. We meet at a small coffee shop near her office. The moment I walk in, the smell of burnt coffee and sweet pastry hits me, and it's so normal it almost makes me cry. The hiss of the steamer, the low murmur of conversation. It's a different planet from the one I've been on for the last hour. Renee is already at a table in the back. She sees my face and her smile drops. Sarah? What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. Worse, I whisper. Family. I sit down. I don't even take my coat off. I just pull out my phone, the device, the weapon, and slide it across the table. Just read. Start from the family rent text. Renee picks it up. As she reads, I watch her face. She's a calm person, normally, but I see her brow furrow, her lips press into a thin, tight line. Her knuckles, where she's gripping the phone, turn white. She scrolls and scrolls, reading the texts from Mom, from Mark, from the aunts. She reads my grandma's voicemail transcript. She finally puts the phone down, face up, between us. She doesn't look at it. She looks right at me. Her eyes are hard. She leans in and her voice is low, but it cuts through the cafe noise, cuts through everything. This isn't rent, Sarah, she says. This isn't duty. This is abuse. She said the word. Abuse. They aren't asking for help. They are stealing from you. Abuse. The word just hangs in the air. It lands in my chest with a physical thud, and everything clicks. All the guilt, all the shame, the feeling that I'm the bad daughter, that I'm the selfish one, that I'm the one tearing the family apart. It's not my shame. It was never mine. It's theirs. It's a projection. It's a tool. A weapon they use to keep me in line, to keep the family ATM open for withdrawals. I'm not ungrateful. I'm being extorted. Renee is watching me. She sees it in my face. The panic is gone. The shaking is gone. A feeling I've never experienced before washes over me. It's a heat, but it's not the hot rage from before. It's a cold, hard, righteous fire. It's the feeling of a spine snapping into place. My hands are perfectly steady now. I pick up my phone. I open the family group chat for the last time. My thumbs move with a calm, deliberate purpose. I type one final message. Not for them. For me. I am not being financially abused. Do not contact me again. I hit send. And then, I begin. I go to my mother's contact. Block. My father's. Block. Mark. The golden child. Block. Aunt Karen. Block. Aunt Linda. Block. Grandma. My finger hesitates. The guilt surges. But she's old. No. She's a tool. She's a weapon they are using. Block. One by one, I block every single number that tried to shame me. And then, silence. The buzzing has stopped. My phone is just a piece of glass and metal in my hand. It's not a weapon anymore. The silence in the bustling coffee shop is sudden. It's total. It's the loudest, most deafening, most beautiful sound I have ever heard, and for the first time in my entire life, it's peaceful. The first few weeks were strange. The silence I had craved was also a vacuum. I kept checking my phone, bracing for another attack, another bzzz. From a new, unknown number. I felt like a phantom, like I'd cut off a limb. The guilt was a physical weight, a dull ache in my chest that flared up at the oddest times when I saw a mother and daughter shopping, when a commercial about family came on TV. I had to learn that the phantom pain of guilt is a symptom of the poison leaving your system. It's the echo of the abuse, not the truth of the present. I started therapy. That's what Renee had been gently pushing me to do, and she was right. I needed a professional to help me unpack 2 decades of being the responsible one, which I now understood was just code for the designated scapegoat. I needed to learn how to rebuild my own sense of self-worth, a worth that wasn't tied to how much I could give everyone else. Months went by. The silence held. It was no longer a vacuum, but a space I could fill. I filled it with me. I filled it with late nights with Renee, where we'd drink cheap wine and laugh until our stomachs hurt. I filled it with long walks, with new books, with finally learning how to cook something decent for myself. I filled it with peace. Then, about 6 months after the block, I got a message from a cousin. She was on my dad's side, a distant relative who had never been part of the drama, one of the few I hadn't blocked. She'd heard what happened. Not from me, but from the family gossip mill. She just wanted to check in. And then she dropped it, casually, as if it were just news. "It's a mess back home," she wrote. "Janet and your dad tried to cover Mark's car payments, to save face. Well, guess they couldn't swing it either. Heard the car got repossessed last week." I read the text. I read it again. The car. The object that started all of this. The shiny, expensive symbol of my brother's entitlement and my family's delusion, was gone. I expected to feel a surge of triumph. A sharp, vindictive "I told you so." But I didn't. I just felt tired. And then, a profound, quiet sense of finality. It was never about the car. It was about a system, a broken, toxic system that had been running my entire life. And when they couldn't force me to fuel it, the system collapsed under its own weight. It was a natural consequence, a karmic justice I didn't have to lift a finger to enact. Mark's irresponsibility finally had a consequence, and my only role in it was to refuse to be the consequence for him. That night, I was in my apartment. It was quiet. It was raining outside, a soft, steady sound against the glass. I made myself a cup of tea, using the expensive kind I always used to feel guilty about buying. I sat on my couch, in a warm, plush bathrobe I'd bought myself just because. My phone was on the table next to me. It was charging, quiet. It was just a phone. A tool. Not a weapon aimed at my head. Not a leash to yank me back into line. I took a sip of tea. The silence I used to be so afraid of, the one they used as a threat, it's just peace. This is what it feels like. Renee came over that weekend. We weren't just celebrating the car. We were celebrating something much bigger. I'd taken the $300 a month they had demanded, that just $300, and I had thrown it at my student loans. And that week, I had gotten an email. Congratulations. This loan has been paid in full. I showed her the email. She screamed, louder than I've ever heard her, and pulled me into a hug so tight I thought my ribs would crack. "You're free, Sarah," she whispered. "You're actually free," we cried. We ordered champagne. That was my found family, the family I chose, the one who celebrated my liberation, not my utility. The money I wasn't extorted for? It went to my freedom, the life I was building. My old family, they called what they wanted family rent. But rent is an agreement. You pay it, and you get to live somewhere. What they wanted was extortion. I would pay, and in return, I would get nothing. They called me ungrateful because I wouldn't be their victim. They called me selfish because I refused to set myself on fire to keep them warm. Here's what I learned. Setting a boundary doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a safe person. You are not responsible for managing the consequences of other people's bad decisions. And family is not a word that should hurt. It's not a justification for abuse. It's not a blank check they get to cash against your life, your salary, or your sanity. Family is the people who see you, who value you, and who celebrate your success as its own reward, not as a new resource for them to tap. If you've ever had to choose between your family and your sanity, you know how hard this is. You know the guilt, and you know the fear. But you also know that freedom is on the other side. Subscribe for more stories about breaking free and finding your real family.